Imagine that you trained all your life to defeat the Demon King, and after you kill him, you don't know anything. Who you are, where you are, or why you lost your memory in the first place. As this brand new manga begins, we are about to see the tragic and full of hope story of our hero, Sonata. The manga starts and we see a witcher kneeling down near someone, who has a long, threatening-looking sword lodged inside them. As the poor witcher's eyes widen, he calls out to the person, who just drew his last breath and had lost liters and liters of blood. As the priest, who was knocked out pretty hard, gets up and questions if Valera is dead, the dead silence answers her question in an instant. As the witcher himself starts to mutter how they are all going to draw their last breath here, it was clear that they marched into a losing battle and are slowly losing the people they cared for. From the side, a person screams at the top of his lungs and tells him to keep fighting even though they are at the brink of despair. As he called out to the nun and the witcher, his voice was so strong that they somewhat got motivated to make the last effort of their life. However, in the next instant, the guy that was screaming was no longer there. A blade goes through him in the most indescribable way, and he was at the point where no one could recognize his head. As the nun and the witcher jolt from the speedy attack that they had no idea where it came from. The Demon King mutters how weak they are, and the nun herself ends up meeting the same fate as her party member. Dozens of swords fly towards her, and she had no chance to fight back at all. As the last remaining person glances ahead to the nightmare that has taken everything from him, we see the absolutely terrifying sight of the Demon King whose power knew no bounds. Countless eyes stare at him through the complex and indescribable figure. With a threatening voice, the Demon King asks the witcher to attack him once more since all his friends were useless and weren't able to even inflict any pain. The witcher, on the other hand, was beyond any help. As the Demon King started to pressure him and offered him the chance to strike, he starts to gasp for air. And the poor witcher starts to tear up and mutters to his father that he is sorry for everything. Just as he says these last words, the Demon King doesn't hesitate and slams his fists on the ground so hard that a sequence of cracks erupts from the ground. In the next second, the staff that he was holding earlier, he holds it firm and jumps over near the Demon King's face, and smashes it against his face with so much brute force that his skin was pushed backward from the intense air pressure, and there, we see that the physical attack that the witcher just did was so strong that it literally shakes everything present there. The Demon King, on the other hand, started to bleed from its mouth, and the witcher was floating in the air, and in his mind, he wonders about the things that he just pulled off. He questions if this is the magical power that he possesses, and on the other hand, the Demon King was sent flying. He questions if he was able to attack with great power, or if the Demon King was just weak. As he questions further, in the next second the Demon King jumps over to him, and glares at him with its rageful eyes, and he closed the distance with the witcher so fast that his eyes widened to see his massive body move so quickly. The Demon King asks him how in the blood-soaked hell was he able to do this. He questions if he hid his power and let everyone else die right in front of him, and asks if he just found out about his power. The tone and the way he asked him made the hero tremble. And instantly a large surge of power comes from the demon's body, and he starts to explain how he is somebody else. As blood comes from his mouth, the witcher ran and dodged everything with ease. And the demon asks him who he is. However, instead of answering his question with a name, he tells him something that he remembers no matter where he goes, and that is a promise that he made with his father way back, and his only goal in life is to stop the war that has been tormenting humanity for ages. As we zoom out and end up seeing the great castle of the Demon King, in the very next second, a large circle erupts from a shockwave and turns everything into dust. The impact from this was very great, and a loud sonic boom shakes everything. This very strike was the killing blow that the great Witcher delivered to the Demon King, and after their serious fight, only 4 bodies were found. The valorous body, who died in the beginning, the nun's body, and the great warrior. And lastly, it was the Witcher's. As the shock wave of their intense fight reached the nearby villages, many saw how he handled the kings of demon, and his power was enough to flip the tides of the fight. He was so strong that even the demon had fear on his face when dealing with him. However, no one knew who this boy was. The great lengths that he went to, he was in fact the killer of the Demon King. And during their last moment together, the Demon King himself acknowledges him and mutters something about how his name is the end of everything. As the Witcher hears about these words, he collapses, and this was the hero of the world who stopped the war between demons and humans. He should be the person who has all the right to be remembered, but the truth is that no one knows who he is, where he is from, and why he holds so much power. As our scene swoops to many days later, we see him sitting on a bed, with bandages all over his body. However, he was not saying anything, rather, he was trying to say something. As he was surrounded by everyone, they were sure that the great hero had lost all his memories. As they confirmed, he was actually the most popular person of that village, and whenever he would come out for fresh air, crowds of people would gather, screaming anything that they could think of. As he repeats something that one of the people said, the nun approaches him and asks if he said anything. And with a shaking head he replies. As he starts to mutter few words here and there, the nun herself compliments him. As she asks her about something related to him being called a hero, he shakes his head. And after hearing the people shouting this at him, he started to somewhat pick up a few words. Hero was one of the words that he would repeat. People loved and found it interesting. However, he was still not able to say them in correct form, but as the people he saved treated him better than anyone, words like love and amazing dwelled inside his head. And with a gentle voice, he mutters and shares how he wants to know about love more than anything. After a month, the hero was able to read a few words, and even could talk. Although he struggled a lot, the people around him were just there for him. As he slowly got better, the next month, he started to venture outside the village to collect herbs with the nearby kids. After one more month, he kept trying to find his memory with no luck, but his speech improved a lot. The nun was his biggest teacher, and she would always teach him about the world. As he spins around and asks her to teach him about demons, elves, and dwarfs, the nun was actually enjoying every bit of their time together. She tells him to wait for tomorrow and they could ask these things from the scientist of their village, and he replies with yes. As he clutches the book and mutters the powerful word promise, after a month things had become pretty jumpy. As a crowd of people rushed toward him, he was running for his life and told everyone to leave him alone, but the people from behind were shouting and telling him something about his family. He shakes them off and kept telling them that he is busy. But the girl couldn't hold back anymore, and in the next instant she screams at him, that if his memories were to return, there would be no need for him to learn anything or go through all the tough time that he is going through right now. As he stops and looks back, the girl tells him with a concerned tone that even though he has forgotten everything, his family might still be waiting for him. And surely he would be able to recognize them once he sees them. As a gentle breeze blows, he adds how he thought about families, but he has no idea what it really is, and in the first place he never even had one perhaps. He asks them how it feels like to be a part of a family, and everyone was just stunned. As they started to explain how in a family everyone is connected by blood, he tells them in a serious tone that the day he opened his eyes, he heard strange noises over and over again, and he tells them how he recognized humans and the loudest girl in the room. Right there he understood that words are very important. As he shares how he knows nothing and perhaps there is a way for a human to move on with whatever he has. The girl was genuinely there to know about how he ended the war. He apologizes and tells her that he can't tell her anything since all that he has is him, and only him. As the girl lowers her head, she cries out that she would like to know about him, and how he ended the war, which took everything from them. He just stares at them, and wonders if he has lost the big thing that might have been dear to him. Later, as he meets with the wizard of the village, he asks if he expects the hero to get his memory back as well. And the wizard replies and tells him that that would be great. As he looks at him with dead eyes, the old man apologizes and reminds how he answered that question like a journalist. As a timid boy sleeps right near to where they were talking, the man spews how during war, parents only wished to see their children. He shares how people lost their families to the war, and when the war ended, every one of them cries tears of happiness. And in this way, the lost family and separated people were able to gather once more. As they kept on interacting, he tells him how family is the most important, and if the hero doesn't remember a family, he should at least find a person that could become his very own family. Now, after hearing this, he pauses for a minute, and in the next instant he tells him that he would like to become a normal human, who could be a pillar to the people. He adds that citizens have somewhat made their neighbors their families. He also questions if he misunderstood the meaning of a family. The little kid approaches from the front and asks the hero to play with him. As the cute little kid reminds him that he needs to come and play with him next year as well, the hero likes the word promise. And the only thing that he remembers about himself is the promise between his father and him. He looks at the old man and tells him that no matter what, there is one promise about protection that he would never forget. Just as they were saying this, from the side a figure approaches them and mutters, "Finally, I have found you." As this encounter was to change everything, this figure calls out to him and tells him that he is his lost younger brother. On the other hand, the journalist, who really bothered him earlier, was running around and screaming to everyone that they know the origin of the hero. As she screams, she lets everyone know the hero's family belongs to the noble and he is the Prince of Meltseta. As all the people start to mutter among themselves, she exclaims that the hero is the son of the great brave man and the princess. As she exclaims about this and lets the whole village know about his identity, in front of the hero was someone else standing and talking to him about an entirely different thing. As he looks into his eyes, he remembers the words of the wizard and how he told that family members always recognize each other, no matter what happens. As the old man takes his son away, for a minute, the hero just looks at the man, and without any pause the mysterious man mutters out that hero's name is Asuragi Nayuta. As he says this, he tells him that he is his brother, and his father is the great demon king. As he tries to process this, an army of hundreds of demons approach him, and he just keeps on questioning himself. The man starts to tell and explain to him that he killed his father, the demon king, and freed everyone. However, as he said this, from the side a person was coming closer to them so fast that along the way nothing was left, and in the next instant a girl shouts at mysterious man and tells him to stay away from her brother. As their swords collide, two people have appeared in front of him, claiming that he is their brother. One is from the demon world and the other is from the old human kingdom. As the girl jumps near him and tells him to look at her, and with a loud voice she asks if he remembers who she is. He replies to her with no filters and refuses knowing her at all. With slight blushes she lets her know that she is his younger sister. She rejects the other man's talk and tells the hero that his real name is Lutandina and he is human. As a demon brother and a human sister collide among each other in the fight to claim their half of the hero, he couldn't help but wonder just who is his real family. The knights from the human kingdom marched toward the great demon leader, and on the other hand the demon army marched as well. The situation was not good, and soon both armies were marching toward each other one more time. None of them knew that this could start the war once more. As his so-called brother joked how this is already a war, his sister runs towards the man. However, she was immediately beaten by him in such a way that she didn't even have the chance to fight back. As mysterious man spins around to finish the so-called human sister of the hero, from the back, a magic bullet knocks over the sword that he held in his hand. As he looks back, the wizard who had taken his son away was right there, and had cast a spell at the demon. With a trembling voice he screams at the demon and tells him not to move. His son, on the other hand, cried and begged his father not to go. As the armies of demon invaded the whole village, everyone that he cared for was in danger all of a sudden, and everyone that cherished the hero was already at the point where their very own lives were in danger. The wizard exclaims at the hero, and tells him in a sad voice to run away with his son and never look back. As he looks at his face, from the side the little boy mutters at the hero, and cries to him and begged him to help them. As he saw the tears of the helpless little child, something snapped in him. He glanced over to the armies. And with a deafening sound, he screams out and tells everyone to stop. As his voice was heard by every single one of them, they knelt in front of the great hero. And none of them even doubted the honor, pride, and strength that he possessed. Even the demon knelt in front of him without doing anything else, and this was the power of the hero. Even his younger sister fell to her knee, and this is the hero who defeated the demon king who killed every strong and brave man that ever lived. He asks his so-called brother and sister about the real reason the war ended and how the war ended. Both of them said different things. His human sister told him to eliminate the demons, and his demon brother told him to kill the humans. Hearing two different and very serious requests, he glances over to the kind wizard and asks what he thinks about this. He replies and tells him that he has no idea, but the war will surely end when the hero is reunited with his family. As he smiles, he promises the wizard that no matter what he would end the war. As the two kept kneeling, he tells them that they would need to leave the village since it could be dangerous for them, and he requests them to follow him and teach him about the word family. And later, as the hero once again saved countless lives, all the villagers bid him farewell, and now two people suddenly came into his life and claimed to be his family, and also both of them hate each other. The hero, on the other hand, wonders just what can he call himself, and for a minute he remembers how they both shouted different names, and a new idea comes to his mind. He comes up with a name for himself. He looks at them and requests them to call him Sonata. As this journey would bring world-broken nations together, their journey starts.